everyone, welcome to our crafting day. My name is Dabney. I'm the young adult librarian at the Twin Lakes Library System, and I use they, them pronouns. For today's craft, what we're going to be doing is making Oni Mask. And for those of you who don't know what Oni are, they are demons from Japanese mythology. So the Summer Reading Club theme is Imagine Your Story, and we're looking at the myths and folk tales and fairy tales and legends of cultures all around the world. So this week we're kind of looking at Japan. And some of y'all might be aware of Oni if you like anime or if you like manga. There are different anime and manga that deal specifically with the supernatural in Japanese culture. So one I have here is Kamisama Kiss. This is a manga that was actually adapted into an anime as well, but it follows Nanami, and she ends up becoming kind of entangled with like a whole set of supernatural creatures, including Tomoe, who is a Kitsune. Pretty sure he's a Kitsune. It's been a while since I've read that, but if you'll notice, she's wearing a Kitsune mask tied to her head. And so Kitsune and Oni and Tengu, these are all creatures who are like, they're also known as like yokai, or I think Ayakashi within like Japanese like mythology. And so this also kind of falls under like Shinto religious beliefs. So like different, like kind of like Kitsune, they were believed to be like one of the messengers of the gods. So that's really cool. There's like a whole lot to learn about that. So, I'm going to have some links for that with the video. But anyways, Kamisama Kiss is one example of an anime or manga you might be aware of. There's also the Demon Prince of Momochi House, which is a series we have at the library. Blue Exorcist and Blackbird. Blackbird deals specifically with like Tengu, who are they kind of have like bird-like features, like wings, and yeah, it's kind of different between like what the original way that Tengu were represented as to oppose like what they become in manga. For example, there's a Tengu in Kamisama Kiss, and he's also like a J-pop star. So I don't know, it's cool. But just to show you some other visual examples, this is an Oni Mask that I'm going to have linked to the video that you can print out in color. This is a Kitsune mask. And so for both of these, if you want to, you can just print them out and color them. Or if you print them on cardstock, you can actually use these as masks. They have holes you can cut out for your eyes, and then on the side, if you wanted to tie like some ribbon to that, and you can do that. And so with the mask, there's a lot of different ways you could go with doing this type of craft. And before I get into that, I'll just say I also shared a link with different types of masks that are popular like in Japan. So typically you'll see these masks for sale at festivals, like summer festivals. I've seen them at conventions, like anime conventions. Usually vendors will sell these masks from Japan. Typically they're plastic. Like for a while I had like a plastic Kitsune mask. There's a really cool festival in Atlanta called Japan Fest, so I think that's probably canceled this year, but maybe next year. Check it out if you're into Japanese culture and anime and learning about got all that. I'm looking for my tiny Kitsune who I've misplaced. There he is. So yeah, lots of different mask options that you could do. And then, so you've got some options of what you can make. So you could make kind of like a traditional like mask that goes on your face. So these are carnival mask from Italy. So this one I got in Rome. This one a friend got for me in Venice. So you can see inside how they're molded. If you wanted to try to make something like this at home, you could do this with like paper mache. Like look up some tutorials for that. And I also had an idea that you could probably make something with polymer clay or another kind of clay that you would bake or fire. So you can mold your mask, bake it, and then paint it. And you wouldn't have to do like a full-size mask if you didn't want to. I saw lots of things like on Etsy where people made like little pendants with polymer clay. So they made like a really tiny mask, baked it, and then painted it, and then wore it like on necklaces or other things. This is what I was going to show you. This is my tiny Kitsune. I got this in Japan. I think at Shinto Inari. Anyways, it's like this really amazing like shrine and cultural like center in Japan. So yay, so cute. So this is something you could potentially make. You know, they've got tutorials for everything as far as like making things with polymer clay. I'm not the best at it, but I really like to watch them. Another thing you could do is you could buy like plastic masks. So, you know, if you're online, you've got lots of options there. Or, you know, if you go to a craft store like Hobby Lobby, they've got sort of some of the full size face masks. They've got like half masks, all different kinds. If you don't really care that much, or, you know, if you're kind of working on more of a budget, Dollar Tree kind of sells these, and they might not have them right now. These are generally something they sell around the time of Mardi Gras, which is come and gone, but they might still have some in the store. You never know. And this one was like gold, and I painted it white. So in a minute, I'm going to add some like little details. You can see how this could become like a very small Kitsune mask. Another idea I had was you could make a face mask, like a cloth face mask to wear, because we do need to be wearing these still. It's very important. I did a tutorial on how to make one of these back in April, so if you want, you can go into our YouTube channel and look in the crafting and quarantine playlist, and you'll see like the mask tutorial. So if you made one with like white fabric, what you could do is decorate it. So I did look, and there are people who have made like Kitsune and Oni Mask as cloth face mask, and they're really cool looking. You wouldn't have to do that. You could do obviously whatever you want, but so if you did this like with white fabric, you could then draw on it with like washable markers. If you don't want, you know, your design to be permanent, like if you kind of want to change it up, you know, do washable markers. If you wanted something like more permanent, I would say go with like a fabric marker, and you can like color or draw or whatever, and then heat set that, and then it'll stay even after you wash it. I would say probably don't do Sharpies, because if you do Sharpies and then you put this over your face, you're just going to be smelling Sharpie fumes, and I don't think anyone wants to do that. I'm not sure if that's necessarily healthy either, but yeah, that is an idea for a mask. So I was just gonna paint this really quick and see, how this turns out. So let's turn this down. So I think with a lot of Kitsune mask, usually it's, I'm trying to look at some references here. It's usually got like red around the eyes. And let's see. Sometimes they kind of go out a bit at the edge. But yeah, when I was preparing this, I was thinking about, how a lot of like my exposure to Japanese culture has been through anime and manga, and learning about things like Kitsune and Tengu and Oni. But I think it's always good to go from there, go from your starting point and like research and learn more. Because sometimes, you think about like what you would see on an American cartoon or TV show, and like you wouldn't necessarily want people to assume like that's all there is. You would hope that people would kind of want to do some more research and find out more about how things are in America. So that's kind of like what I try to do when I watch like a show or something that's set in another country. Like I like to try to find out like, okay, so what are things like there? And I don't have any black paint on me at the moment, so I'm just going to use this black Sharpie to kind of give this like a little nose here. One thing that's interesting, so like I really like shows about the supernatural. I like Teen Wolf. I like Supernatural, of course. And for those of you who didn't know, they actually did an anime season of Supernatural that was made in Japan. And we have it at the library. It's really interesting. And it's fun to watch it in like the Japanese, the original like Japanese voices as opposed to like the English dubs. But some of the episodes are like regular Supernatural episodes, and some, like I think there's at least one where Sam and Dean have to deal with like Japanese yokai, and I thought that was really fun. So that's kind of very simple, but something to work off of. I just got paint everywhere. So yeah, again, we've got these coloring pages y'all could do. And this is, again, kind of just like a jumping off point to get you started and get you thinking about some different crafts, and hopefully get you thinking about looking into more of like the mythology and the lore behind some of the creatures you might be seeing in manga or anime. And remember that our collection is now open at the library, so if you wanted to check out some manga or some anime, you can just call us and place a hold and then come pick it up at our drive-thru, which is open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 2. We have tons and tons of manga and anime that's available to you. So yeah, I hope y'all have a great week. And actually, I just remembered that I didn't tell you your activation code, which seems to be a problem with me. I'm always forgetting that. So 1 second while I write that down. You can't see this. I'm going to paint it. Okay. Apologies. Oh, I'm running out of room. Hopefully y'all can read this. Okay. So your activation code for this episode for Beanstack is Kitsune. That's Kitsune. Sorry, I'm just kind of struggling. So yeah, Kitsune is your activation code. Alright, now I will see you next time.